the year I was poorest. I worked as a male escort in a bar, and one wealthy client booked me for half a month straight. She was my ex-girlfriend. 7 years ago, I'd left her without a second thought after attaching myself to a rich older woman. I never imagined that when we met again, she'd returned from studying abroad. Successful and accomplished, she threw money at me, used every means to force me into marrying her, and told everyone I was the white moonlight she'd carry in her heart forever. But later, she paraded around with different men, staying out all night, until everyone started laughing at me. She watched my humiliation and pain with delight, then sneered at me. Lin Zhongxian, the only reason I pick you up again in this lifetime was so I could throw you away one day. What she didn't know was that my life was already on a countdown, so she wouldn't have many chances left to discard me. 1. On the 4th anniversary of my marriage to Jiang Qingye, I finally took a rare trip out of town. This day was the most important of my life, not just because it was our wedding anniversary. First, I went to the cemetery early to pay respects to my parents, kneeling on the cold stone. I told them everything in my heart. I wore a down jacket, even though it was only autumn. I vaguely remembered 11 years ago, when I first brought Qingye here. She pointed at the blank space under children on the tombstone and cried in heartache. That autumn wasn't particularly cold, and when she hugged me, I felt warm all over. I still remember her saying back then, "Don't be afraid, Zhongxian. You'll never be alone. I'll stay with you forever. We'll have children, a son who looks like you, a daughter who looks like me. Then the 4 of us will come here together for holidays and grave visits." Guess I've gotten old. I can't handle the cold anymore. When the wind blew, I tightened my jacket and wiped my tears. "Mom, Dad, this might be the last time I come to see you." Leaving the cemetery, I opened WeChat to message Jiang Qingye, asking if she'd be home for dinner. But seeing that our chat history still stopped at half a year ago, dozens of messages, all just me talking to myself, I fell silent. My hands trembled uncontrollably as I gripped my phone. I stood by the roadside, letting the cold wind whip at me until even the cigarette butt in my hand was blown out. Finally, I mustered the resolve to call her. When she answered, her side was noisy. I could barely hear her. Afraid she'd hang up impatiently, I rushed to speak. "Qingye, are you coming home for dinner tonight?" I already knew the answer. She was in another city, but I just wanted to see if she'd agree to come back. What if she remembered? What if she came back? I couldn't bear to let her down. "Are you insane? Didn't I tell you? Don't bother me unless it's important." As she said this, I heard an unfamiliar male voice in the background. "Babe, come dry my hair for me." Coming. She left in such a hurry, she must have forgotten to hang up. So I stood there, clutching the phone, shivering in the wind. So cold I could barely endure it. "Babe, who upset you?" "Nothing. Just some lunatic." I silently ended the call and tried to numb the turmoil in my heart with another cigarette. I wanted to ignore it, but images of her disgust and impatience flashed through my mind. The wind stung my eyes red, and my heart felt like it had been stabbed. The pain nearly suffocated me. I knew who that guy was. He had a better body, better looks, better health than me, and he pleased Jiang Qingye more than I ever could. He was exactly her type. Over the past 3 years, she'd been with all kinds of men, young, pretty boys, college students, indie musicians, you name it. But this one had lasted the longest. Hidden away for over half a year, she started staying out all night, traveling with him, visiting trendy spots, appearing at events together. People in the circle would say, "So what if she's the white moonlight? Now she's just piling one green hat after another on his head." Those around me warned me to be careful, lest Jiang Qing also develop genuine feelings. I smiled bitterly. How could I be careful? When they held hands beside the golden mountains bathed in sunlight, when they embraced, I was busy clinging to life in the hospital. Endless pills, endless tests. The doctor said whether I'd make it to spring was entirely up to luck. Truthfully, I'm not afraid of death. I'm just afraid of pain. When the torment of illness became unbearable, I wished I could die on the spot. The border town was always better than Beijing, weather and scenery, climate, or culture. Look, even when a grown man like me crouched by the roadside like a lunatic, crying and laughing, passers-by would still come over to ask if I needed help. I didn't dare look up. I was afraid my ghostly pale face would scare the young girl. "I'm a trainee nurse at People's Hospital. Here's my number if you need help while you're here. You can call me." She pressed a note into my hand, hesitated, then slowly walked away. My tears fell even harder. The border town was my home, the place where my life and love began. But I had long since lost everything here. The sudden kindness only made my heart ache more. A grown man weeping like a dog on the street. To avoid drawing more concerned gazes, I wiped my tears, pulled up my down jacket's hood, and walked away. I went to inquire about cemetery prices. The balance in my card was dwindling. Treating my illness had nearly drained all my savings. A single coin could stump a hero now. I couldn't even afford a grave for myself. I couldn't help curling up on the ground. The pain seemed sharper than ever. I'm terrified of pain. The doctor mentioned an imported painkiller that could ease my suffering. So I needed money. In my current state, I couldn't work. Jiang Qing hadn't allowed me to hold a job in the 3 years we'd been married. So my only lifeline was her. I bought a hard-seat ticket on an overnight train and rushed back. On our 4th wedding anniversary, I had to ask mutual friends just to find out where my wife was. How laughable. But in the face of illness, even irony loses its sting. I didn't have much longer to live anyway. When I pushed open the private room's door, the atmosphere froze at my presence. Young Master Lin. President Jiang is in a video conference. She'll be back soon. I nodded and sat in a corner. I had to wait for her here. She'd ordered her subordinates to bar me from the company, and she never came home. This was my only option. Isn't this President Jiang's husband? So ugly, like a ghost. How does he even deserve to stand beside her? I noticed him even before he spoke. Shen Yan. Anyone who says I look like him must be blind. I'm handsome and dashing. How could he compare? The transparent floor reflected my shadow. Truly hideous. With pallid cheeks and swollen eyes. The girl who'd spoken first whispered, "Keep it down. Young Master Lin used to be quite handsome. He just looks unwell today. Probably sick, even if President Jiang favors you. Rein it in. Young Master Lin is still her lawful husband. He's her white moonlight. Don't cross that line, or you won't know how you died." 3. I stayed silent, but someone else grew furious. Shen Yin sneered, lifting a glass of red wine as he strode toward me. "Oh, did you come crawling back to beg President Jiang to celebrate your anniversary with you? Sorry, but bad timing. Today's my birthday. From now on, this day belongs only to me." Jiang Jia said, "I'm a most important treasure in her heart. Always her number one priority. As a fellow man, I sympathize with you. Let me be honest today, and from now on, there's no place for you." His eyes brimmed with arrogance, his smile unbearably smug. The cockiness radiating from him was a testament to his youthful vigor. He was indeed young and handsome. Just like I used to be. Maybe he really is her number one. In the past, I'd met every man Jiang Qingye brought around. She'd parade them in front of me just to spite me. After the anger faded, she'd replace them within days. But he wasn't like the others. Half a year, that was a long time. I heard they lived together, traveled, watched movies, raised flowers and dogs, cooked meals, like a real married couple. As the man kept on the side, he had everything but the title. I let out a rare, soft laugh. "Oh, but you're so handsome. I can't believe she'd let you be the other man. What a shame, forced to lurk in the shadows. You, with all your charm and favor, should hurry and sweet-talk her into divorcing me. Then get yourself promoted to the main role. Otherwise, rotting on the streets, you'd still get stepped on. A male homewrecker. How pathetic is that?" The wine glass in his hand nearly shattered from his grip. His face twisted in fury. "Shut up. What right does a loser like you have to judge me? If you weren't squatting in the damn stall without taking a shit, would I even be in this position? What era do you think this is? Let me tell you, the one who isn't loved is the real third wheel. Even if you knew her first. So what? You're old and ugly now. You don't stand a chance against me, if you know what's good for you. Get lost. Don't humiliate yourself here." Huh. He might be the most brazen homewrecker I've ever seen. If I were healthy, full of vigor, I'd have punched him hard. No way I'd take this crap. But I couldn't. My body wouldn't let me fight. The onlookers watched like it was a show, some even pointing fingers, as if I were the clown. But it didn't matter. When you're already half dead, what's the point in caring? I told myself countless times, don't get angry. Don't grieve over that woman anymore. But he was different. Young, impulsive, prideful. So when he swung a wine bottle at my head, I instinctively raised my arm to block. The bottle shattered against my watch, and by cruel luck, a shard sliced his palm. The blood was stark, glaringly red. It happened too fast. My vision swam. My already broken body taking another hit. Every bone in me ached dully. The pain made it hard to breathe. Cold sweat pouring down my forehead. By the time I regained my senses, Jiang Qingye had already rushed in, frantically inspecting the man's wound. Her voice was livid. "Lin Zhongxian, you're a fucking lunatic." I laughed coldly, mocking myself. He deserved it. Shen Yan, who had been so arrogant moments ago, suddenly reddened, looking as if he'd suffered some great injustice. Yeah, he's right. I deserved it. I shouldn't have fallen for someone with no future. Being called trash. A homewrecker. It's all my own fault. With that, he shoved Jiang Qingye away and ran off. Panicked, she shot me a venomous glare before chasing after him. The worry and urgency in her eyes. She really did care about him. I hadn't forgotten why I came. Numbly, I followed, just in time to see Jiang Qingye blowing on his minor wound, soothing him with tender words. "Don't be afraid. As long as we love each other, no one can separate us. Give me a little more time." Okay. At this moment, my heart ached unbearably. It had been so long since I'd seen her this gentle. I lowered my eyelids, hiding my self-mockery and bitterness, and spoke numbly. "For this year's anniversary, I want $1 million. If companionship falls short, at least money can make up for it. With $1 million, medicine and a burial plot will be covered." Back when she forced me to marry her, we signed a contract. It stated she would have the rest of my life, and I would have her money. On the day we registered our marriage, she sneered at me. "Lin Zhongxian, You're the most pathetic, worthless man I've ever met. Greedy and shameless, only caring about money. For the rest of your life, you can live with your money. After that, she often humiliated me with money, and I never refused. But that money ran out. Terminal illness is the most bottomless money pit in the world. Throw money in, and your life goes with it. In the past, whenever I asked, she would give me whatever I needed. But this time, she set conditions. Money again. I can give it to you. But you have to apologize to Ian in front of everyone. Everyone from the private room had followed us out. Now, even Jiang Qingye before me seemed blurred. Was she really still the girl I loved in my memories? For another man, she was using $1 million to shatter every last shred of my dignity. I clenched my fists, enduring the excruciating pain tearing through my body, and turned to leave. I didn't need that money anymore. I had few friends left. When I boarded the last bus, I was the only passenger. I opened the window wide, letting the biting, cold wind rush in. I let the wind dry my tears. By the time I got home, the pain had drained me of all strength. The moment I lay down, I began vomiting blood more than ever before. I curled up on the floor, trembling violently, wishing I could just die in this endless agony and despair. When the pain finally eased, I sighed in relief and pulled up the organ donor registration I'd browsed earlier. Filling it out, only after arranging everything did I dare swallow handfuls of sleeping pills, waiting to drift off. If I never woke up, it wouldn't matter. After my organs were donated, the association would cremate what remained. At least this way, I wouldn't have to sell my dignity for money. In my hazy dreams, I seemed to travel back in time. I saw us clearly, from high school to university graduation. Back then, we were both poor. I remember once saving 3 months' worth of living expenses just to buy Jiang Qingye a princess dress she loved. That dress was exquisite, beautiful, snow white. When Jiang Qingye wore it, she looked like an angel who had fallen to earth. But her eyes were red as she looked at me with heartache and said, "Lin Zhongxian, you big idiot. Don't eat instant noodles just to save money for me again. I don't like pretty dresses." Yet, despite her words, her eyes sparkled with unmistakable joy. I held her tightly, vowing to give her even better things in the future. She happily dragged me along the riverbank for what felt like an eternity, long enough for us to make countless promises to each other. That was our love, passionate, overwhelming love. I'll never forget the day she stood on the graduation stage in that expensive violin dress and confessed to me. The princess dress she wore was bought with 3 months of my living expenses, utterly cheap compared to the violin. But I was young. I believed I could work hard enough to give her everything. So I took on every part-time job I could find: courier, labor, flyer distributor. No work was too dirty or too hard. Until the day I suddenly collapsed and went to the hospital, where I received earth-shattering news. The doctor said that with proper treatment, I might at least avoid an early death. In the year I was at my most ambitious, loving her with every fiber of my being, I learned I would die young. Even with treatment, the remaining days will be filled with the torment of illness. Not only will I have to live with medication day in and day out, but I won't be able to stay up late or have children. My organs will deteriorate one after another. In that moment, my world collapsed. I cried all night, cursing the unfairness of fate. I needed her so badly then. We had promised each other to see the mountains together, to watch the sea, to walk toward a distant future. But before it even began, it seemed impossible. At that moment, I couldn't wait to see her, like a lost child trapped in darkness, unable to find my way. In just a few days, I had walked through hell in the hospital corridors. I saw men ravaged by illness, their spirits broken, their bodies emaciated. Wives stayed by their sides, unwavering, yet wept bitterly in secret. I watched as some, after losing their loved ones, became hollow shells, their eyes devoid of light. Suddenly, I panicked. I was terrified. During my hospital stay, I couldn't hold back. Once I steadied myself, I called her. The moment I heard her voice, I felt alive again. But before we could speak more than a few words, I heard her parents complaining in the background. "Jiang Qingye, your mother only has you as her daughter. We had such high hopes for you. The violin cost your parents 2 years' worth of wages, scrimping and saving, and you just sold it off like that. Let me make this clear. I absolutely forbid you from being with that penniless boy." She hung up in a hurry, and my world collapsed again, crushing me until I couldn't breathe. I was barely in my 20s. I could still work hard, still fight, but it felt like I was already out of time. That night, she ran to me, defying everything. Her eyes were swollen like walnuts as she stood lost on the street, calling me in tears, begging me to find her. I pulled out my .4 and rushed to her without a second thought. We embraced on that desolate street, kissed, went to a hotel, our breaths ragged from the intensity. I didn't touch her, but she gasped in my ear, "Lin Zhongxian, I'm willing." I held her with all my strength, memorizing her warmth, her shape, her beauty, etching her into my heart forever. That night, she whispered countless sweet nothings. We dreamed of the future together, laughing under the covers. But what she never knew was that on what should have been the happiest night of my life, as I listened to the girl I loved laugh freely, I wept silently, trembling in pain. Luckily, lost in her own happiness, she didn't notice. The next day, I took her to meet my parents. She said she wanted a child, wanted us to be a family forever. But forever was something I couldn't give her. Neither could I give her a child. After graduation, I chose the most lucrative job I could find, working night shifts, endlessly hustling to sell alcohol. On Christmas, she came to me with a large sum of money. I knew what she wanted to do. Her mother had already confronted me. The woman was right. I wasn't good enough for her. So when she found me, I was in the back of a Mercedes, entangled with an older woman. She saw everything through the window, even from a distance. I could feel it. My girl's heart was bleeding. She yanked at the car door, pounding on it, screaming at me over and over. "You bastard. Why? Why would you do this to me? What does she have that I don't?" I covered us both with my jacket, ignoring her tears, and sneered. "Jiang Qingye, you have no money. All you can offer me is your flat-chested body, nothing else. I don't want to struggle. I don't want to graduate just to be jobless. I want money. I want status. Can you give me that? Jiang Qingye, stop embarrassing yourself. Just leave. We're over. Don't interrupt me while I'm busy." I drifted in and out of sleep, half convinced I might never wake up again. Those memories cut like knives. Their lingering pain truly overwhelming. Indeed, emotions come full circle. So now I don't blame her. My stomach ached from hunger, and as I got up to find something to eat, I noticed the living room light was on. A burglar. But this place is dirt poor. There's nothing worth stealing. If only it were a murderer who broke in. Better to stab me to death. Better a short agony than a long one. Struggling to my feet, I reached the bedroom door, only to see Jiang Qingye standing there. Someone I hadn't seen in ages. I was stunned, then let out a bitter laugh, muttering to myself, "Looks like I'm really about to die. Now I'm even dreaming within a dream." But she was actually mopping the floor, her clothes and the ground stained with blood. Outside, the acrid stench of something burnt hung in the air. The blood on the floor had nearly dried, a sight both real and bitterly ironic. Jiang Qingye already had her own life now. Tonight, her young boyfriend must have hurt his hand, and she was probably comforting him tenderly. As long as she didn't strangle me, why would she ever come back? This dream was too absurd. I wanted to wake up, but then I saw Jiang Qingye walking toward me. "Lin Zhongxian, what's wrong with you? Where did all this blood come from?" Her tone was uncharacteristically gentle, laced with a stiff sort of concern. I couldn't help but mock myself, even in dreams. I still craved her care. I really was beyond saving. With a bitter smile, I shook my head and turned to go back to bed. Even in dreams, I didn't want to see her anymore. It hurt too much. But the Jiang Qingye in front of me suddenly grabbed my arm. "What's wrong with you? I'm talking to you. Haven't eaten. You're so thin." Another knife to the heart. The way she frowned with concern made my chest ache so much I couldn't speak. That gentle tone made it seem as if we were still deeply, madly in love. Irritated, I shook her off. Even in dreams, she wouldn't let me have peace. "Jiang Qingye, get the hell out. Don't appear in my dreams. You're annoying. Go be with your little man." Her warm hand suddenly touched my forehead, then slid down on my cheek. Those beautiful eyes looked unreal, devoid of impatience, filled only with confusion. "What's wrong with you? You're calling me annoying. Are you trying to drive me away again?" She emphasized the word. Again. Her voice inexplicably wounded. Feeling her warmth, the unbelievable realization hit me. This wasn't a dream. But what was this? Reconciliation. What was the point, when I was already on the verge of death? Faced with her questioning, I smiled and admitted it. "Yeah, that's right. I am driving you away. Not just this time. If you show up again, there'll be a third. A fourth. Just looking at you now disgusts me. Your voice makes me sick." I slapped her hand away from my face and wiped my cheek in disdain. My sharp words made her expression darken instantly. As if deeply provoked, she roared in fury. "What the hell do you mean? I haven't even called you disgusting yet. What right do you have to say that to me? You dare push me away?" In disbelief, she shoved me. Rage gave her strength, and she pinned me against the wall, kissing me fiercely, unlike the breathless passion of the past. All I could think now was, does she kiss others like this too? Disgusted, I pushed back, clenching my teeth. Her hands groped wildly, but I held them down firmly. When I turned my face from her burning lips, she trembled with anger. Her eyes red-rimmed. She bit down hard on my earlobe, her voice trembling, almost pleading. "Lin Zhongxian, can't you stop being so stubborn with me? In the past, this was my most sensitive spot, but now, my body betrayed me with a visceral wave of nausea, summoning all my strength. I shoved her away and ran to the bathroom, vomiting violently. I retched until the world spun. The toilet bowl filled with blood. Huh. Do I really disgust you that much? Do you know how happy I was today when my old homeroom teacher called and told me you'd return to our school and sat in our old seat for so long? Right after the call, I rushed over to see you without a moment's delay. To make you happy, I even specially made you kanji. And this is how you treat me. What exactly am I to you? Her hysterical screams filled the air. I wiped my mouth and fired back without backing down. Trash. The kind of trash that brings nothing but bad luck the moment it gets close. She grew even angrier and tried to move closer, but but I quickly turned on the faucet. In the dimly lit bathroom, we argued fiercely. By now, there was probably no trace left of the lovers we once were. In the end, she still walked up behind me and wrapped her arms around me. Zheng Xian. Her words were cut off by the sudden ringing of her phone. I glanced at it. No need to guess who it was. I heard the man's voice, pitiful like a homeless child. Baby, I'm waiting for you to come back and blow out the candles with me. Eat cake. Okay, baby, if you go to Mr. Lin sighed, will you never come back? Baby, to you, I'm more than just a stand-in, right? Jiang Qingya hung up. For the first time, she didn't respond to that man. When the second call came, she impatiently ended it again. She held me tightly, her voice muffled, but firm with command. Zheng Xian, turn around and hug me. Okay, just hug me, and I won't leave. I'll stay. All right, I only felt more self-mockery. One by one, I pried her fingers off. She seemed to have forgotten, back when I still had a year or two left to live. I had begged her over and over, humiliated myself, pleading for her not to leave, to stay with me. I begged her just to talk to me, but she coldly said, Lin Zhengxian, you're so filthy. How dare you ask me to stay? You don't deserve it. So, the knives she stabbed into me, I'll just return them. Jiang Qingya, you don't deserve it. Be with whoever you want. It has nothing to do with me. I didn't need to turn around to feel her body swaying unsteadily. She must have been as disappointed as I was back then. In the end, she didn't even glance at me before slamming the door and leaving. But the next day, she had already moved on to someone else. Rumors said it was a sweet, young art student, puppy love type. He could play guitar and piano. Shen Yin was abandoned, chasing after her everywhere, demanding answers. She was as heartless as a machine, ignoring him and having him thrown out. Shen Yin turned his anger toward me. Despite his relentless pursuit after being discarded, he was still cast aside. So, sniffling, he told everyone around him that it was all because of me, because I pressured her, because I interfered. That was why two people in love were forced apart. I stopped going to the hospital. I didn't have the money. So I just endured the pain. But life had to go on. Whenever I went out to buy groceries, reporters would tail me. I knew these recent events had gone viral online. So these people seized every opportunity. Mr. Lin, hello. It said that when you were dating CEO Jiang, you were already leeching off wealthy women for money, leading to an abrupt breakup. And when CEO Jiang returned from studying abroad to start her company, you used your past relationship to emotionally blackmail her into taking you back. Is that true? So, Mr. Lin, which is more important to you, money or love? This time, you're clinging to Mr. Shun's sudden inheritance, refusing to let go, forcing two lovers apart. Do you really think that's right? I smiled and replied coolly, don't just take someone's money and come here to slander me. False accusations and defamation carry legal consequences. The video of me being harassed by these people quickly trended on social media. Lin Qing, who had been flaunting different men around, finally spoke up. She said, my husband and I will handle our private matters ourselves. If anyone dares to bother him again, I will pursue it to the fullest extent. When a reporter asked if she had ever considered divorce, she remained calm and composed in front of the camera, a faint smile curling at the corner of her lips. If my husband proposes a divorce, I will agree. That afternoon, I was practically torn apart online. Many people threw rotten vegetables at my doorstep. It's all because of this disgusting, spineless man. What was he called again? President Zhang's white moonlight. More like a pathetic loser who brings shame to men. All he cares about is money. How laughable. Someone like him would never initiate a divorce. He'll probably cling to President Zhang's wealth until the day he dies. I smiled bitterly. What use is money when I'm already on the verge of death? The one time I reached out for help, she refused. That afternoon, I dragged my exhausted body to face the media again. These ridiculous reporters and media outlets acted like messengers between us, airing our private affairs online and letting netizens freely judge and mock. I agree to the divorce. Please relay this to President Jiang. I will finalize the divorce as soon as possible. From now on, we go our separate ways. After saying this, I could no longer hold on. I knew that once this was over, I would have to watch her walk out of my life for good. Amidst the stunned reactions of the cameras and reporters, I offered no further response. Really, Mr. Lin, you're not just trying to deceive the media, are you? If the divorce is real, how much of President Zhang's assets will you demand? Surely you won't ask for an exorbitant amount. Sorry, but that's a private matter. You have no right to pry. Frustrated by their aggressive questioning, I slammed the door shut. The pain in my body grew worse by the day. I had been weak and listless for a while now. I could feel my time running out. I called Jiang Qingya's assistant, asking him to come pick up the divorce papers. Her assistant used to be Shan Yan, but he had already been dismissed. The assistant initially agreed, but changed his mind moments later, texting that he was too busy to come and that I should find a way to deliver them myself. At this point, I didn't have the luxury of throwing a tantrum. Annoyed as I was, I had to swallow my irritation and take the papers over. I didn't have much time left. I needed to get the divorce finalized quickly to die alone. Unburdened, when I arrived at the company, Lin Qing was waiting for me, On her computer screen was the video of me announcing the divorce. Seeing me, she frowned slightly. Her eyes reddened. Do we really have to go this far? Lin Zhongxian, if you want something, you can just tell me. There's no need for these mind games. I've grown tired of all this. It's meaningless. Maybe it's because I'm older now, but no matter who I'm with, I can't find that same heart-fluttering feeling I had with you. At first, I sought out these men out of spite, but no matter what I did, you never got angry. You were supposed to love me deeply. So why did you change? Later, I was just searching for traces of you in them. You didn't like Shun Yan, the one who stayed by my side the longest. So I got rid of him. If you don't like the others either, I can stop, just as long as you soften your stance. I laughed. Even now, her tone was accusatory. I could even detect a hint of condescension, mixed with a commanding edge. I hadn't wanted to tear down the last veil between us, but she forced my hand. Oh, then can you honestly say you never had any feelings for Shun Yan? Just yesterday, I heard you'd arranged a bright future for him. You couldn't bear to see him suffer. For him, you could trample my dignity with money, demanding I apologize without even hearing my side. But do you know, that night, I wasn't the one who threw the first punch. I didn't even fight back, yet you pinned all the blame on me. Jiang Qingye. Look at us now. Does any trace of what we once were remain? I hurled the divorce papers at her with force. She didn't dodge. The sheets struck her face before scattering into her arms and onto the floor. In that moment, I realized the one drowning in greater pain, greater despair, was me. It felt like I was truly dying. The agony was unbearable, as if every bone in my body were being crushed into powder, leaving me breathless, shattered. The suffocating pain radiating from my heart turned my throat sour, making even speaking or breathing a struggle. 9. She picked up the divorce papers, glaring at me with venom. Nothing. What kind of trick are you pulling now? Do you really think I won't divorce you? I've already explained myself. What more do you want? You refuse to bend, refuse to yield. Fine. I took the first step. Is this still not enough for you? Lin Zhongxian, I'm starting to doubt your feelings for me. Did you ever love me at all? Am I really so worthless in your eyes? You're always pushing me away. Do you not care no matter what I do? You're driving me insane. Fine. If you want a divorce, then we'll divorce. Let's never see each other again. Her fury burned red in her eyes as she signed the papers with trembling hands. Fine. Never again. Not even in death. I spat the words back at her. Once, we were the two who loved each other most, who vowed to spend the rest of our lives together. But this was what remained of our rest of our lives, plunging knives into each other's hearts. I don't remember how I left, only that as I turned away, Jiang Qingye's sobs followed me. I had planned to go straight to the station and leave this place behind. But then came the sudden dizziness, the blood dripping from my nose, splattering onto my hands. The nosebleeds had returned, this time worse than ever. My legs gave out. My body had no strength left. Darkness swallowed my vision as I collapsed hard onto the ground. Zhongxian. Jiang Qingye's panicked voice rang out behind me. I didn't know why she had followed. Her face streaked with tears. In my fading vision, I saw her sprint toward me, catching me as I fell, screaming frantically. Someone, call an ambulance. I fought to open my eyes. I had loved her, resented her, hated her. In truth, my entire life had been tangled up with this one woman. I wanted to see her one last time, but the pain overwhelmed me, stealing even that final glimpse. 10. During my unconsciousness, there were moments of clarity. Someone wept beside me, a voice achingly familiar. Why? Why does he have leukemia? His hair, doctor. Tell me, why is my husband wearing a wig? Lin Qingye's voice was frantic, laced with despair. And yet, I wanted to laugh. She was my wife. We'd been married for 3 years. The illness had struck a year ago. I'd endured it all this time. My hair had long since fallen out, but I wore the wig because, from beginning to end, I never wanted her to see me, haggard, ravaged by sickness. I wanted to spend my final days with her, looking my best, the wig, the makeup to mask my pallor, the black shirts, but she never looked at me with adoration again. Doctor, I beg you, save him. I have money. I have so much money. I'll pay any amount. Just save him. Doctor, he's still so young. How can he die? Yes, how can I die? But death is my only release. Are you his wife? Didn't you know he found out years ago that he would get this illness? He's been fighting it for years. He could have lasted until spring, but not anymore. He wasn't like you. He was poor. Toward the end, he barely took any medicine. Just painkillers and sleeping pills, gritting his teeth through it. In the end, he was tortured to death by the pain. Even if he wakes up, he'll only last a few more days, and the suffering will only get worse. He gave up on treatment himself, said he had no money left. At this point, there's no point in trying anymore. Shut up. Just shut up. Quacks. All of you are quacks. Jiang Qingye began screaming hysterically, sobbing with all her strength. I wanted so badly to wake up and tell her it was okay, to tell her to leave, but it seemed I could do nothing at all. My consciousness grew fainter. The excruciating pain in my body began to fade. My soul was wrenched from my body by an immense force. I floated in midair, numb, watching Jiang Qingye lose her mind. She smashed half the hospital room, alternating between sobbing and laughing. One moment apologizing endlessly, the next cursing wildly. I get it now. I understand everything. You left me back then because you were afraid I'd abandon you. Right? Idiot. You absolute idiot. I never asked for your self-sacrifice. Did you ever think about me when you did all this? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Lin Zhongxian, I know I was wrong. I'll never yell at you again. Please, just wake up and look at me once. Okay. No, don't die. Please, what will I do if you die? How do we end up like this? Clutching my increasingly cold hand, she wailed as if her heart were being torn apart. She even knelt by the bed in a frenzy, kowtowing like a madwoman. Please, don't die. Don't die. I can't live without you. I felt nothing. I didn't want to care anymore. I want to tell her not to cry at my grave. It would dirty my path to reincarnation. But I was dead. I could do nothing. I saw the black and white impermanence before me and walked toward them, expressionless. This world is too cruel. I won't come back in the next life. Neither of us was wrong. So at the moment my life vanished, I felt neither hatred nor love. This time, it was truly goodbye. Goodbye, my 19-year-old love, Lin Qingye. After death, you really do cross the Mengpa Bridge, and before the river of forgetfulness, you see everything that happens after you die. I didn't want to look. I walked straight to Mengpa and asked for her bowl of soup. But then, from behind me, came Lin Qingye's voice, anguished, desperate. I turned instinctively and saw her leave from the window of my hospital room, tear-streaked, lips trembling. She called my name, Lin Zhongxian. I'm coming with you. Please, wait for me. I turned back and drained the bowl. Softly, I muttered, did you forget? We promised never to see each other again, even in death. Then let's never meet again. Not in this life or any other.